Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You're watching 4M Ranch and American. Today we got a new power washer to talk about that I got, and pretty excited to show it to you. So this power washer is the STIHL RB800. Comes with a 4 gallon per minute pump and a 14 horsepower motor made by Kohler. So I'm going to go over some of the features this thing has. It came with this gun. My dealer already put it together for me, but it's a 2-piece lance and gun here. It's got fastens together right here. It's got a handhold, so you can adjust this wherever you want it. It moves on the gun. It's got a pretty long lance on it. It's got pretty good vibration mounts down here. They're pretty good size. So it really has quite a bit of room to wiggle around when it's running. Here's the adjustable unloader valve right here. It's got the plus and minus at the top. Minus to decrease the pressure, plus to increase it. It came with this detergent suction hose, which doesn't work all that great. I had some issues with it, but I'll go into that here in a little bit. It's got the quick coupler on here. Screen for the water hose, and then I bought this gauge separate from Northern Tool and put on here. That way I could tell what PSI I'm running at. So that's nice. So I adjust my valve up here, and I can adjust my PSI from 4,000 down to 1,000 if I want to, and then I can come over to my gauge and see what it's at. So like this way, if I'm like washing my truck, I don't want it at 4,000 PSI. So I turn it down to about 1,900, 2,000, and then I can verify it's there on the gauge. This is an AR pump. As you can see there, it's an oil bath pump. So you got your oil sight up here, and you can fill the oil over here on top, and then you drain it right here. So they recommend after the first 5 hours of use that you change the pump oil, which is SAE 30 weight oil, and then the Kohler engine, which has a drain down here at the bottom and then fill here. But on the other side, they put the drain plug there, and then they did a cutout over here so your oil just drains through the bottom and doesn't get all over the frame. And then the oil that they have for this is this Tech 4 Plus 1030, so any 1030 engine oil. It came with all these, the soap, the 40, 25, 15, and a 0. Came with 50 foot of hose. It's got the quick connects on it, and this is 6,000 PSI rated hose, 3/8. A very good hose here. It doesn't kink up like if you're pulling out like some of the cheaper, smaller pressure washer hoses. They kink on you. Doesn't do that. This engine shut off, I kind of like it. It kind of confused me at first because I was looking for the traditional off switch over here. But it's the engine off and fuel all in one. So you turn that on, and it turns the ignition on and the fuel on to the carburetor. So that was kind of cool. And it's just an all-in-one. When you want to turn the motor off, you just simply put that over here and it shuts the fuel off and the engine. So then right here you have your throttle full, and then idle. So to start this thing, I gotta put it about halfway. It starts a lot easier. Choke, which is right here, on off. We put the sticker all the way over here, so when you first get this thing and you're looking to start it, you're thinking this is the choke lever right here, then this kind of blends in. But anyway, that's the choke. They got winter mode on this air filter. You can see there's the sun arrows line up together. That's the mode it's in. Then the winter emblem over here. So it's got these little clips you take off, and you can move this thing around. It's just got a standard canister pleated filter, pretty heavy duty filter. So you would take this and you would line it up this way, like that, for winter operation or colder weather, and then it's going to draw the heat off the exhaust into the air intake. So right now it's warm out, so I have it in the warm mode. This thing's a little difficult to get on and off one-handed, but it's easier if you take this off and put it on, but the dealer already had it in the correct position for me when I got it. So anyway, like I say, that's the air filter on it. The gas tank, pretty good size, as you can see. It's got a screen in it. Runs quite a while on full tank of gas. I haven't actually timed it how long it runs, but I'd say it at least runs for a good hour. So this engine is a Kohler. It's a CH440 Kohler. So anyway, back to the nozzles. You got all stainless steel, then the brass nozzle for the soap. The inlet and outlet on the water are both brass and pretty easy to hook up. Holds 7.4 quarts, 4.0 GPM on the pump, 4,200 PSI, 16,800 cleaning units. And it's also 168 pounds. So it's actually pretty heavy. It's a two-man job for sure to lift it up in the truck. And it's actually pretty tall too. Like, I'm 5'8", and this thing is right here, almost chest high at this top of this handle on me. It's got pneumatic tires on both sides. They're pretty wide, so they roll across the ground pretty easily. It's easy to start. It doesn't have a whole lot of recoil. So I've been using this thing for a couple weeks now, and like I said, the only real issue I had was with the soap dispenser, where it hooks up right here. We're supposed to put this hose on there. It has a little ball in there, and in this thing that is supposed to move back and forth, and it kind of was not working, so I had to take this off and get a new one and get it put back on to get it to start working again. So I don't really know what was up with that thing. So this is the first pressure washer that I've had that the wand holder isn't just absolutely worthless. Most of the other ones, this thing just falls out, but you can see that it holds it in there pretty good. So you can wheel it around and it doesn't want to fall out. So some of the other complaints that I seen when I was watching some videos on this is they said like they didn't like how the hose mounted back here, and this whole frame and everything was bulky, and when you have the hose on the whole holder and you lean it back, they said it drags the ground. Well, if you roll the hose up tight enough, it doesn't drag the ground. It stays about right here, and if you wanted to, you could get a little bungee cord and run around it, but it's no issue. They were saying that they didn't like the frame, but I like the frame on this, especially here working on a farm and stuff, as you transport this around to different spots and it's easy to grab a hold of with 2 people and put in the truck. And if you don't have somebody to help you, I can take a strap and run from here to here and lift it up with the tractor and set it in there if I had to. And another good thing I like about this is if for some reason this fell off the trailer of the truck, with this nice tubular steel frame protecting it, if it were to roll over, it's not going to tear up the motor because everything on the frame sticks out past the motor. So that was a really big sell point for me as far as this pump being protected under here and not getting damaged because of the frame around it. And then another main reason I decided to go with this pressure washer is I already own STIHL weed eaters, chainsaws. If y'all watch the channel, you know. And of course my Exmark lawnmower. And I have a dealer that's not very far away from me. And I got to get my parts from my Exmark mower, weed eaters, chainsaws, etc. There at that place. So I was like, well, if I'm going to have another small engine to maintain, why not get this one? Because I already go there to get oil and stuff. So that was another reason I purchased this. And some other complaints were saying that the tires are pneumatic tires and the competitor pressure washers are solid rubber tires. Well, their tires aren't quite this big. These are pretty good sized tires, and the width of them is pretty good size compared to some of the others. But their complaint was every time you want to use it, the tires go flat. But I don't know about you, but I don't wheel my power washer like through thorns and stuff that's going to poke a hole in the tire. It's strictly wheeled around the yard, cross gravel. And that's another reason I like these big tires. It's because you can sit here and wheel this thing across gravel fairly easy. So, and it wheels across the yard, across the dirt, no problem. And even bouncing on the gravel, you can see that the wand doesn't fall out of the holder. So it's got rubber grommets on the front where it sits down to help with the vibration. And it's pretty loud. It is a 14 horsepower motor. But if you're going to run it for any longer than 10 minutes, I would suggest some sort of earplugs because it's pretty loud. So some things I bought attachment wise. I bought this little guy right here. It's a angled tip that you can put on the end to get a 90-degree or an angle when you're power washing. So what I find this useful for is, say I want to wash my truck here, I want to get under the wheel wells, I can stick my wand up under here and turn this at an angle and then get all up underneath there. Now I will tell you, if you're running this thing at max PSI and you put this on your gun at that much of an angle, be prepared to hold the tip of the lance down here, because as soon as you pull that, if it's facing down, this thing's gonna shoot up instantly, and if it's facing up, that's gonna push it down. So you gotta come down here and grab a hold of it, because it really has some power to it. It's got a little hole drilled out down there so the water drains out. The quick coupler on the gun, I don't know how well this gun's gonna last. It's mainly all plastic. So far I haven't had any trouble with it, but 4,200 PSI and dragging around and just a lot of use on it, I don't know how long it's gonna last. But everything else on this pressure washer seems to be really well built. and this hose is a really good hose. It's got this rubber shield over the hose where it connects to the gun so it won't kink on you. Same way with this one at the power washer pump. But again, 50 feet of hose. And I got the steel floor scrubber also, which will be in a separate video I'm going to do with the accessories on it and show you guys that. But anyway, I just wanted to go over this pressure washer with you real quick before we use it, show you what it's like and everything that it has on it. And from the video you can't really tell size wise. I was pretty shocked when I walked to the dealer and they come wheeling that thing out. I was like, man, that's huge. So I'll put it over here next to my truck tire and you can kind of see the kind of size we're talking about. So that's my truck, 20-inch rim, and you can see how big it is. But overall, I've been pretty happy with it so far. I've washed my house, washed all the brick, did the siding wash, used the power scrubber on the concrete, and it did a really good job. I used it to clean out my garage, wash my truck, the tractor, all kinds of other little ins and outs of things. It'll be really useful this summer when I start having to wash the brush hog off and the hay mowers and the balers. And I'll tell you, that 4 gallon a minute versus like a residential like 2.5 or 2.7, it really speeds up the time it takes to wash something. So you think when you're going to look for a power washer, you're like, well, it's a 3200 psi. Well, the pressure isn't everything. The main thing is gallons per minute on the water flow. So when you double that, it really cuts your time down on washing some, because it just puts out so much more water at higher pressure. So if you're wanting to purchase this power washer, it runs about $1,300. If your STIHL dealer has STIHL dealer days going on, you can get 15%. My dealer was able to get that deal on the power washer, but they didn't have any in stock, so they had to order it. But it only took them 1 or 2 days to get it in. So I got the 15% off, and it ended up being like $1,200 or so, and which isn't a bad price for this power washer. If you go look at the North Star power washers that are kind of equivalent with the Honda motors and the 4 gallon a minute pumps, it's going to be right there in that price range. So it's pretty even across the board. Just depends on what you want for yourself, but I chose to go with this one just because with the dealer being close by, and like we talked about in the video, with the frame, the setup, the tires and whatnot. So, well, hopefully the review on this RB800 power washer helped you out if you were looking to purchase one. I'm going to make this video into 2 parts since it's getting so long, and part 2 will be the washing and showing you guys how it works as far as washing something. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you're not a subscriber already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down in the bottom right hand corner. And thanks for watching. See you guys next time.